Well, hello, everyone. Hello. Good to see everybody. Happy Sunday. It is our brunch, and it is I, the Oracle of Whimsy. And as you can see, I started to burn some beautiful. I started the charcoal, then I sat down. Here's the problem. I forgot the frankincense and myrrh. I was going to bless us today. Would you like to be blessed with a little bit of frankincense and myrrh? Would you like that? Maybe. Yes, it's brunch. What is for brunch? I already had my brunch. I had a delicious green smoothie. While I get the frankincense and myrrh and talk about the blessing you're all about to receive, discuss amongst yourselves. We're all here having our brunch together. It is 11:05 a.m. If you haven't had a chance to do so yet, be sure and share, like, subscribe, and click the bell notification. So if you have it, you don't have the bell notification because I got rid of it, you just have to turn on your notifications. Let me go get the frankincense and myrrh, and please share amongst yourselves. What is your brunch? I hope it's healthy. Whoops, I don't want to knock this over. Hugs. Someone had hugs for breakfast. That's all right. Someone singing. Now, as you can see, my fellow sensitive people, in honor of the governor of Texas, yes, you will not be soon forgotten, Greg Abbott. We are raising money for Planned Parenthood. For those people who don't know who and what Planned Parenthood is, Planned Parenthood is a nonprofit organization that believes in supplying health care to both men and women, regardless of ability to pay, and that our ability to take control over our own reproductive rights, reproductive freedom, is every man and woman's right. So if you would like to be part of the Greg Abbott campaign for Planned Parenthood, he will be receiving a certificate from Planned Parenthood. Yes. It will be delivered. Yes, it will be delivered with love to the governor's mansion in Texas, because we want him to know that even if you can't get safe health care in Texas, you can still get it in Oklahoma. Yeah. All right. So let's talk about you, and then we're going to get into this show. Got a lot going on today, starting with gratitude to everybody who's already contributed to Planned Parenthood. As you know, we raise money for Planned Parenthood every year. Last couple years, we've been raising it in honor of Mike Pence, but Mike Pence is no longer our VP, and so we're doing it in honor of another awful person, the governor of Texas. All right. Hello, False Teeth, Real Tarot. That sounds like a lot of fun. Got to check that out. Denise LaForgia is in the house, as is Sue Malik. Julie Torado, thank you so much for your help today. Cher Bear, hello. Sue Ann T, welcome. Kelly Shea, hello, Kelly. Good seeing you here. And Miss Lori as well. Yes, it is a bit dreary, the weather. But you have me to cheer your day, and we have a lot to talk about what's going on spiritually more than what's going on politically. Absolutely. It's our Sunday show. The Oracle of Whimsy, the alter ego of the good Dr. Whimsy, will be hosting the show. And so pretty much anything and everything goes within reason. But let's start first with the blessing that I would like to give you. And we're going to be starting first with the myrrh. Yes, you can get it in a powder form on Amazon. Go ahead and give it a little smell too, if you want to know what it smells like. I think it has a clean smell. It smells clean, but it also reminds me of the catacombs. There's something very sacred and still about myrrh. It brings you to a sacred, quiet place. Yes, it's lovely. And it's a cleansing herb. Now, let's see what it says. It's associated with Isis. So when we think about myrrh, it was buried in the Acropolis. How do you pronounce it? How do you say that word for an ornate thing to be buried in? They were often made of stone. But anyway, they found myrrh and frankincense. People would go on their journeys and they would take nice things with them to the other side. So the goddess Marian, Isis, Adonis, and Ra. So Ra, if you're trying to bring out that energy, the sun god, it's associated also with the moon and masculine energy. It's associated with protection, exorcism, healing, spirituality. The power of the medicine will heal, consecrate, bless, meditation, and contemplation. Now, I have, and you do too, probably, a fire, one of those fire detectors. So what I always tell people, particularly if you're interested in hoodoo or kitchen magic, is that a little dab will do you, that you don't have to pour and smoke up the whole place. It's kind of wasteful of the medicine, but just being prayerful with the medicine. Also, if you're practicing voodoo or hoodoo tradition, squeezing, chewing, or anything that energetically is going to release the vibration and the intention of the plant. And so the intention of this plant today is to give blessings and healing and love and positive energy to everyone here. And so we'll just go ahead and offer that to the Buddha, which of course exists within all of us, right? It's all one. So we gave a little bit of the myrrh. And then we're going to mix that with the frankincense. Frankincense, also known as boswellia, is used to help with inflammation, right? So we will see boswellia in formulas that are inflammatory, right? But to reduce inflammation. Yeah, so I have to be really careful with it because it's going to smoke a lot, but I want you guys to see this resin is associated with Adonis, Apollo, Baal, Demeter, Hades, Helios, the sun, moon goddesses, Pluto, Ra, Venus, Vishnu, exorcism, protection, and spirituality. And frankincense and myrrh, excuse me, when combined, are a sweet taste to your ancestors. They give something sweet for them to taste. So if you're trying to draw up your ancestors, say your ancestors were slaves or they had a tragic life or something like that, to give them a sweet taste, whether it's in your tradition to give alcohol or a little bit of frankincense and myrrh, it's just a nice gift to the ancestors as well. And yeah, it's hot. Did it go out? Might have gone out. No, it's actually on. It'll warm up. Okay. So let's do this. Was that fun? Nice blessing of frankincense and myrrh for everybody. Hi, Mila. Cat is here. All right. Next thing on the list of the Sunday show. The Sunday show is being sponsored. Gotta move this. So first things first, this show, Sunday's show, is being sponsored by Mark Rhodes, the producer. the promoter and manager extraordinaire, Mark Rhodes. If you are looking for a publicist and somebody that comes up with amazing creative ways to promote his clients, Mark Rhodes is out of San Francisco, and he often will sponsor our Sunday show. So this show is being, whoa, Mila, be careful. Excuse me. This show is being sponsored by Timothy Adams Chocolates and Mark Rhodes. Timothy Adams Chocolates and Mark Rhodes. Timothy Adams is a luxury classic and irresistible collection comprised of the finest chocolates you will ever have. Timothy and Adams. And on the back, you can see some of the selection that you can get if you visit Timothy Adams Chocolates. I absolutely am a huge fan of the gourmet chocolates. I absolutely love them. And then we have a nice personal card from Mark, just letting us know that he is representing the company and wanted us to have a box. Well, now for the personal story. Would you all like a personal? What is Mark Rhodes' contact information? That is a great question. He's pretty famous. So if you were to go to Facebook or to Instagram, Mark Rhodes, you could contact him that way. Yeah, he's really cool. The thing about him that I like is he works with small brands, but he also works with famous people like Finch. But he comes up with very creative ways, like having a psychic open a box of chocolate, and it's fun. All right, so would you all like to hear my story of a doomed love affair revolving around chocolate? Who would like to hear the doomed love affair before we start the remote view? Oh, yeah. Chocolate can tell you a lot about a man's character and a woman's character. Oh, yeah. All right, so let's take a look. And I feel morally obligated to taste one of these. What beautiful presentation also with Timothy Adams. Oh my God, this is not anything I've ever had before in my life, except maybe on that fateful day when I should have gotten a hint and run. Look at this. Now, I imagine that Timothy Adams has a website, so you could probably order and have this delivered if you have a certain somebody and you want them to have something this lovely. Which one should I have? Can anybody pick which one I feel drawn to? I mean, the group gets to decide which chocolate Dr. Whimsy picks, or the Oracle of Whimsy, of the Timothy and Adams. And then the pink one. Okay, so we have 3 pink ones. We have a pink lotus. We have a pink mandala. And we have a pinkish crescent. I believe you were talking about the pink lotus. Is that correct? Now it's white chocolate. Oh, the green one. Now you're thinking the green one. Green one. Yes, symbol of infinity, I believe. Oh, dear. You guys are making this difficult for me. The pink lotus is white chocolate, but I shall do it for you, my friends. The light brown one next to the green. The light brown one next to the green. You mean this one with the pink? Okay, this is pink and chocolate. All right, so the ones that you picked for me, and this is a flower that's opening. To be honest with you, this flower looks a little bit like a peony. What are those flowers? Those big pom-pom flowers that denote that the high priestess has? They're associated with Persephone. I believe that that's what that flower is. Okay, so the one you picked for me was, oh, God bless you. You picked the coconut cream. So let's do this. The coconut cream. think I've touched the face of God. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. 3 distinct flavors. Yeah. Top, middle, and bottom. Definitely can taste the coconut. Extremely good quality chocolate. And slightly different flavor on the top. Just a little bit like raspberry, just a hint. All right. Wow. Well, these are very, very special. Unbelievably delicious. And wow. I will enjoy those. So let me go ahead. Oof. When you eat one, you can't stop, right? I gotta stop. If you guys weren't here, I wouldn't stop. All right. Timothy Adams. See, if you start off with really great ingredients, if you are cheap and you try to save money, people, you can kind of tell. You can sometimes do really great stuff with inexpensive products, but sometimes you can't. All right. So my horrible story was that I was dating this guy a long time ago, and I went to visit him. I flew to see him in some town somewhere. Anyway, I bought him some really. I was a starving student at this time, but I bought him some chocolate similar to the Timothy Adams. That's a pretty penny. Well, that night we had a very romantic night. I fell asleep. I woke up at like 3, 4 in the morning. He had eaten all of the chocolates. Granted, I gave them to him, but I was hoping he would share one with me. You know what he saved me? He saved me the 2 pieces of white chocolate and said, yeah, he ate the entire box. Left 2 white chocolates when I woke up in the morning and said, oh, I left the white for you, to cover his tracks. Like, I'm a nice person, so I let you have the white chocolate. Early signs I should have run from that relationship. That's all I got to say. The signs were there. Okay? Okay. Next present. Woohoo! Another present. Woohoo! Cicada crystals sent by Kelly Barnes. My goodness. This is a lot of fun. Oh, did I not get the thing to open this? I love crystal. It's so interesting because I've really gotten into crystals. Ah. What is in it? A lot of fluff. A lot of fluff. Oh. Oh. Oh my, oh wow. It's a crystal art piece. Look at this. Let me move this. Looks like it's, I wonder if it's, oh, there's more in here. Oh, wow. It's a grid. You folks know what this is? Oh my God. And there's some Oh my God, some beautiful scent that she's made. Look at these crystals. Oh my God. The salves have been made from the buds of poplar or cotton tree. It comes from Jeremiah 8, chapter 8, verse 22. Is there no balm in Gilead? Is there no physician there? Was known as an ancient cure-all for arthritis, bruises, and cuts. Thank you. I will definitely use it. Balm of Gilead. She gave me the balm of Gilead. Oh my God, I need more feathers. Look at this feather. Look at this. And there's some cards in here. I want to be very careful I don't throw anything out that's in here. Oh, there's something here as well. That is. Okay, I got it all. Right. Well, my goodness. This gift is cicada crystals. Cicada crystals. All right. So let's take a look at this amazing piece. It says that readings in the bliss of being alive, optimal health and healing. So, yes, you use it to evidently do some type of grid work. It's a sacred geometry grid. The rose quartz Merkaba, light spirit body, two interesting tetrahedrons said to provide protection and a venue to higher dimension. Rose quartz to block negative energy. Opalite for meditation. Blue agate to release tension. Sapphire to purify. Hermit diamond, whoa, to attunement. High vibration quartz. Thank you so much. How do people buy one for themselves? You guys are so generous, but you never leave any contact information. Hope you enjoy the gift for all your much appreciated remote viewing work. No two grids are alike. I pull a sacred geometry oracle card and cards from the Beyond Lemuria Oracle for the compass points. The poles really seem to match your essence. The wood slice is cottonwood. I burn the grid on and then paint my interpretation of the geometry grid. I have also included a smudge feather and a homemade herbal salve. I also make wooden candles, altar stands, and fairy wands for the kids. COVID-19 has made me crafty. Enjoy. So this is coming from the company. Her company is called, I guess is this on, I assume it's on Etsy. Let me give it to you. It's called Cicada Crystals. And the artist is Kelly Arness. Awesome. Okay. Thank you so much, Kelly. It will bring beautiful energy. I have no doubt of that. I have no doubt about it. It's beautiful. And it looks like it took a tremendous amount of work to create this. Wow, thank you so much. Okay, so on and upwards. Yes, I really appreciate all the loving gifts everybody gives. Okay, so the next conversation, we're keeping it going here, has to do with last night's remote viewings. Would everybody like to talk about that? Thank God Dr. Anderson finished opening her presents. Well, to be honest with you, people usually come in 15 minutes after we start. So hanging out with people looking at presents for the first 15 minutes is probably a good use of my time. Okay, and I thank you guys. Very sweet. So the remote viewing last night had to do with a couple of things. First off, people wanted to know about what, again, if we could do cards on the Justice Department, and if people want to also ask questions today, we're going to do a blitz. That's absolutely fine. Weather sucks, but I don't even know if I'll be able to go out today. What could you do? I want to take you guys for a ferry walk, the members. Hopefully the weather will be good enough for us to go live and I can show you some of the fairy woods I grew up with. But anyway, so the first remote viewing had to do with the Department of Justice and the escalation of some of the arrest and prosecutions that were happening, particularly some of the information that Robert Mueller found out and handed over to the feds, and then also information that was shared from New York. It kind of goes back to the long-winded investigations that the feds had that went back years. Some of these, decades where they'd been following the money. It kind of also goes back to what Christopher Wray had said, that he was limited in terms of what he was allowed to spend money on in terms of investigations, but he was allowed to collect data. But it was a very tense situation he found himself in, kind of. Now he's in the hot seat, right, with Kavanaugh, et cetera. We can certainly blitz on that. But it feels to me like a lot of restraints went. It also feels like there were a lot of people in the FBI that were harassed that now want justice. We might be seeing a lot more private lawsuits or legal action that isn't made public because of harassment that took place in certain positions, like whether it was working for some capacity of working for the feds. Like I said, there's also an investigation going into how money was used, both by the Republican Party, access to information, and also access that the Republican Party had to government resources. You see how complicated this is starting to get? So a private organization like the Republican Party should not have access to information like security information and investigations that are happening by the feds. It should be separate. But then it gets to be even more complicated when you go into this energy, because it's not just that the Republican Party had access to secret information and investigations. It also looks like that information, the people that had access were basically white supremacists that took over the Republican Party. So you have that aspect. But then you have just the stuff that got started now being tightened. For example, Lev Parnas pleading guilty. He pleaded guilty to a lesser sentence because he's cooperating with an ongoing investigation. You have the raid of Deripaska, which is going to be interesting because it would be curious to see now that they're getting closer and closer and closer to who got bribed. If you go back to last week's remote, this is prior to Deripaska being raided. The energy felt like, what were they being accused of? They were basically selling United States secrets. They basically sold intelligence to foreign countries. That's basically what the main investigation looks like. And so then the next energy that we're talking about, the next thing I looked at last night had to do more with just spiritual awareness, that for everybody to be aware that to everything there is a season. You know, if you're going through hard times or you're feeling like no matter how hard you work, you can't seem to get ahead, like the energy is working against you, it might be good to read, is it Ecclesiastes? Um, to everything there is a season and a purpose under heaven, right? There's also a really great song. I was learning to play it on the guitar, based on the Ecclesiastes, but to everything turn, and that was kind of the meditation last night. I think the Birds have a very famous version. There's also, I think Joan Baez might have done it as well. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. There's a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to laugh, and a time to weep. There is a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to build up, a time to break down. A time to dance, a time to mourn. A time to cast away stones. A time to gather stones together. To everything there is a season and a purpose under heaven. There's a time of love, a time of hate, a time of war, a time of peace. A time you may embrace, a time to refrain from embracing. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to gain, a time to lose. A time to rend, a time to sow. A time for love, a time for hate, a time for peace. I swear it is not too late. So that was last night's meditation, that we should be mindful of the times, to be able to stand back and observe the times. And if we feel that we were fighting against the energy, perhaps we should just let it be, stand back, observe, and understand to everything there is a season, right? And a purpose to it all. Anyway, that was last night's remote. Hope you enjoyed hearing the poem recited again. Okay. For whatever reason, this did not go off. Gonna have to light it again. We've got a faulty one. Oh well. Only burned halfway. Yeah. To everything turn. There is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. And a time to every purpose under heaven. All right. Would everybody like to get a group reading? Thank you, Tony. You're very sweet. All right. Let's give ourselves a reading. Okay, I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, for our families, for the planet, for the people that we love, but also even to help those we may have strife with. And together, collectively, as a community, we say, Amen. Let's go in. Thank you, everyone so far who has donated to Planned Parenthood. I really, really, really appreciate it. And I know that the people who receive care from Planned Parenthood are really appreciative. When I was a young girl, I definitely used their services, and I'm glad that as an adult, I can now do something to get it back. Where we are at right now, collectively as a community, we are going back to the things we love. Now, we have a lot of crazy stuff going on in the planet right now, but we've got even crazier things going on here, right here in the good old United States. And some of the crazy is absolutely good in the sense that a lot of people are really collectively saying that they have had enough. We've talked about the fact that there would be more jobs than people, but I don't think that people understood that there was potentially, that this in and of itself could be a crisis for the United States, right? If you have 40% of millennials walking off the job, that's great news if you're a senior, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. The great walkout, right? 40% of millennials will quit their job by the end of this year, or will have already quit their job because they're done. Which is why temp agencies are great for anybody over the age of 50. You walk in, you're an adult, you understand what work is. 40% of the staff just walked in. Well, seems like a fine job to me. But that's really where the energy is going, is that people want to go do things that bring them joy. They've lost people that they love. People have died due to COVID, and people are asking themselves, why am I alive? Am I alive to work a job I hate? It's kind of like, take this job and shove it. You know that song, that I ain't working here no, you know that song? And kind of like the girl that took the microphone at Walmart and said, take this job and shove it. There is that aspect of this energy. A lot of people have just had it. They're getting in their cars and they're leaving. You can't force us to work. We're not slaves anymore. We're not indentured servants anymore. Ten of Wands is backbreaking. It's this feeling like we got stuck being the scapegoat. We got stuck. Everybody's dumping on us. We were the one that showed up and did the work. Hello? Excuse me? Who are you to judge me? You know, it's this feeling like the person that everybody dumped on that has to carry all this crap. Whereas now the base of the matter is, what do you want to do with the rest of your life? That's really what you got to ask yourself. Because being pissed off, you know, if you can do something about the people who have wronged you so that they don't wrong somebody else, then you should. Walking away and just letting the monsters get bigger isn't a particularly good thing to do. But after you've done that, you kind of got to go and find your bliss, right? So the base of our matter is actually the Six of Cups, right? So the Six of Cups is to return back to what you love. Whether it's a person, a home, a family, a time in your life which brought you joy, becoming that guitar picker you always wanted to be, right? Because I love folk music and I love roots music, right? It wasn't exactly the music I grew up with, but I have roots music, but I love, well, a little bit. I grew up with a little bit. So it's going back to what you love. Where we are at right now, Ace of Wands. Just like in World War II, COVID has cost us more human lives than the Civil War. This is why when Republicans scream about China, the China virus, objectively speaking, they're not entirely wrong. I mean, if China had dropped a bomb that killed 800,000 Americans, and if their public health policies did the same thing, killed millions of human beings around the world, then I think there should be consequences for that. But just like in World War II, just like in the First World War after the Depression, just like the Great Plague, it ushers in a time forever season. There's a time to grieve, right? We buried the dead. It was, it's still going on. They're just now opening up vaccination to young people. But just like during the plague and every other time we've lost large populations, it actually heralds in an advancement and a renaissance for the planet. You can see first house is Ace of Wands. So you are the captain of your ship, my beautiful goddess, and my gods and goddesses. Yes, you are your mind has the capacity to create whatever you like, right? Because it all comes from the mind, right? So Ace of Wands presents to you in the first house. So this is a time to pick up the staff and create a life for yourself, to leave behind backbreaking work and feelings of exploitation, because you really don't have to tolerate it. Not with 40% of the population walking off the job. You either give us healthcare that works. People are homeless on the streets because we have a health care crisis. We have a public health care crisis. If everybody had free health care, and if we understood that some people suffer from chronic mental illness and will always need help, and that a compassionate society is built around the most vulnerable, not the wealthiest. We now collectively, it's the best of times. It's the worst of times, but it's the best of times. It's the best of times for the poor people. It's the best of times for the poor people's movement, because we're done. Just like we were done during the Renaissance, which hailed it in the Renaissance. You give us what we want. We want healthcare and we want it to work. A wage that works. You don't want to give us unions? Fine. You can at least give us the same rights we would have if we had had a union that you took away, right? So Ace of Wands is the power, right? The power is with the people, right? What crosses us. The Queen of Cups. This is also an artsy time. This is a time of people getting together and making music. This is a time when people are getting together and there's jam sessions happening. There are artists happening, right? Just like in the 20s after the Depression in Europe. We're feeling this energy moving in. Be curious to see what astrologers are seeing. I can feel the energy, and then the astrologers will explain to me what I'm seeing. But I almost feel like I'm back in Paris in the swinging 20s. Right? You have all these beautiful geniuses just letting it rip. That people stop caring about whether or not people like you, just like on The View or the Remote View. If you ever did the Remote View, as soon as you open your mouth, 50% of America hates you. So you might as well just say what you feel, right? Let yourself be. Let yourself fall on your face. Let yourself create. Let yourself be free. Let yourself be the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is an idealist. She's a naive idealist. She believes in love. She believes in beauty, and she builds a world for herself that is based on that. She rubs her lamp, God bless her, and that's all well and good if you actually have an Ace of Wands to back it up. Some people can sit there and they can rub their lamp forever. Daydreaming, la, 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 la. We've all done that, right? But Ace of Wands is cojones, right? It's the power. You can have whatever you want. Who's to say you can't be a famous folk singer at 58? I'll do whatever the hell I want. I'm not going to let Simon Cowell limit me, right? It's that kind of an energy. She dreams. She manifests, right? What is above us, the energy coming in for us. Heartbreak. Disappointment, a feeling like we had dreams or we had fantasies or ideas about how the world should work, And other people told us that they were going to be a part of that. Well, maybe they lied, or maybe they disappointed us, or maybe they fell in love with, the harlot from Harvard, whatever happens in our life, as we go through this life, we will be disappointed. People will disappoint us, particularly if we built dreams with other people. Scholarship. The other thing I really love about this is that, when you let a child alone to study, directed study, what are you into? What are you into? What are you into? And you just give the child the freedom to just go down any rabbit hole. They can become a genius as long as you leave them the hell alone. There's certain things that have to be part of the curriculum when you teach somebody to read, write, and do math and history, etc. But directing it towards their passions, studying should not be torture. What you sit in is the Hermit, which is the scholar's card, right? So this is somebody who is doing deep, deep spiritual work. This is the scholar. This is the time of the scholar. What you came out of, complete betrayal by those you trusted. The people getting this possibly have been betrayed. You've been betrayed. Look at this. You've got a 10 of swords in your past and you're still recovering. Somebody has really screwed you over. A lot of people are feeling ouchy. A lot of people are feeling like they're coming out of some betrayals. Look at this. Your 6th house, your near future coming into your power. You know who you are. You know what you believe. You know what your values are. You're nobody's scapegoat anymore, honey. And if people owe you money, they need to pay you back. It's that kind of energy, right? Where you're at right now, new beginnings. You can go wherever the hell you want. Well, I don't have a job. Become a temp. Do it online and go move to Belize for a year. Fall in love with like my friend did, with a sexy guy on the beach in Belize. They have 3 kids now. You're free. You're free. You want to go live in the south of France? Believe it or not, it's affordable. There are small villages, small towns. Nobody ever wants to live there because it's not Paris. You won't be rich, but yeah, you can, you'll have to get up at a ungodly hour if you're working online, but you can do it. You can do whatever the hell you want. Right? Well, I want to get into a car and I want to drive and I want to see the world. Get in the car and go. Well, then cut it. Get rid of it. Right? Your 6th house, magician, your environment, page of wands, your base, 6 of cups. People that betray you and treat you like crap don't get to have you in their life. They lost. Sayonara, past action, reaction. You grew from it, honey. You learned, you became powerful. You made your own castles. You create your own legacy. The clarification, the people that have wronged you in life, I feel shame. There's this shame. There are people that have hurt you, and there's a lot of shame here. Shame, theft. They don't want to look at their crap. Turned in selfishness, turned in anger. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you had survived somebody with a drug or alcohol problem. Abuse, malignant narcissistic behavior, dishonesty, tricksters, theft, betrayal, possibly by former family members, heartbreak. But here's the good news, it's in the past. To everything there is a season and a purpose under heaven. And that is over now. That is over now. You make your own bed. Go wherever the hell you like. We are free now. We're too free. Must be terrifying if you're a millionaire to realize that there are companies out there that'll hire you on the spot, even though you live in Belize. So We now know what our options are. And this is a time of power. This is a good time for you. And that's the collective reading. And I hope that it spoke to some of you, because it certainly spoke to me. Those were strong cards. Okay, what do y'all think? Did y'all enjoy your collective? Did it help anybody? Did it give some clarification about where you're headed? Could you see the cards? Those of you who read cards, did you understand when you looked at them? Pretty straightforward. I thought that was pretty straightforward. Horrible Ten of Swords, to feel betrayed. Three of Swords, disrespect. Someone did not respect your heart, my friend. No, not good. Well, Joel Tilson has told me to blitz away. What do you think? Should we listen to Joel? Is he the first one to give the order? I think so. Okay, so let's start writing down the questions. I already had a couple questions that you guys had sent in. Let me go ahead and get organized here. I hate seeing, I'll be honest with you, I kind of hate seeing that, because you guys have become like my friends. I'm a Leo rising. You hurt my friends, I come after you. Ten of Swords, Three of Swords in your fourth house. You're cutting cords with bad people, my friend. Good riddance, Julie, because you had the Ten of Swords in the past and the Three of Swords in the fourth house. You're still coming out of it, but you have a Magician in your sixth house. You can be okay. Everybody here that's going through that is going to be okay. Okay, so first question had to do with Steve Bannon. Would Steve Bannon be actually going to jail for refusing to cooperate with the January 6th commission? People are freaking out about this. Evidently, he's been held in contempt. And guy's always in the news. Have you noticed that? He's always, anywhere there's something creepy or sleazy happening, right? It's unbelievable. All right, so let's see what's going to happen with Steve Bannon. Yeah, I think he could go to jail, but let's see what the cards say. Steve Bannon in contempt. Never, I don't think this has ever happened before, that somebody has gone to jail. Let's see if Steve Bannon becomes the first person. Steve Bannon is going to jail. Steve Bannon's luck has run out. We are witnessing the end of Steve Bannon. Does everybody get that? We are witnessing what is the demise of Steve Bannon. Here's the thing with Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon worked for billionaires and trillionaires and did their dirty crap work. So here's what Steve Bannon needs to understand. He was never one of them. You're not the crown prince of Saudi Arabia, okay? You're a creepy, sleazy, garbage collector that I hired to do my crap work for, to use the media, fake news, in order to plant fake stories so that my personal needs could be taken care of. You're expendable, Steve. You're not one of us. You're the garbage collector, and you got a little too comfortable, and you thought you were one of us. Well, you're not one of us, asshole. And so somebody's got to go down, and it's going to be you. Do you think that the crown prince of Saudi Arabia is going down? Do you think that the prince who built the United Arab Emirates is going down? No, you're going down. You're the fall guy, Steve. We're done with you. You served your purpose, Steve. The star is on you. And every horrible interaction that you had with us. But make no mistake about it, we are the aristocrats. We rule the world. You don't rule the world. You're the garbage collector. Going to jail for us. Your services will no longer be needed. That's the end of Steve Bannon. Wow. Can you believe those cards? Outcome. Because of world. Look at who he's doing business with. He's the star witness, by the way. You don't want the star on you. By the way, if you're a reader, you don't want that kind of juxtaposition. You don't want to be the star witness facing jail. Star is not good when it's next to a card like that. That's like the spotlight on you. And people are pointing out every crappy thing you did, right? Oh, I think it's worse than jail. What did he expect? He thought he was one of them? Oh, yes, Mr. Crown Prince, we have a lovely castle here. It's not your castle. It's that kind of a thing. I let you through the front door, even though usually you go through the back. He's the guy that goes through the back door. Right? Yeesh. Okay. What do y'all think about that? All right. So the next, I know. So the next question people wanted to know, I got a lot of comments about Deripaska. Is that how we pronounce his name? Deripaska? The guy who got raided, the Russian, he was part of an aluminum. He didn't get arrested. His properties have been raided. They took a lot of evidence. Now, if you go back to last week's, thank you, I'm trying to remember this. If you go back to last week's, what the charges were that for what we could figure out from the Department of Justice was the selling of states' secrets. So these people were using the media in order to get their thug in the White House, fake news, fake articles. That was Bannon's job. He's the sleaze guy who plants the sleazy fake news. Then he also had them blackmailing people, kiddie porn, and everything else. And it's all just rather disgusting, really. And then you've got, yes, Deripaska. So you've got charges. Thank you for spelling that for me. We can look at that too, Foggy. So Deripaska, thank you for spelling that. Yeah. Let's see what the feds want with this guy. Because if this goes back to the previous remote of the selling of states' secrets, is the money going to be traced back to this guy? I guess that's what I think that we're all kind of thinking that, right? So let's take a look. State secrets for money. Crazy. All right, so let's try and see what we can find out about the raid with Deripaska. This is fun. This is so much fun. I love it. This was part of an investigation by the feds that had been going on for some time, and okay, a lot happens. There's a lot. There's a lot of information, even though it was only 4 cards. It's like, okay. First off, this is part of an ongoing investigation that already existed, and also they had been sharing information through New York. Now, did the raid take place in D.C. or did the raid take place in New York? I don't know where this raid took place, but there's a strong woman here that's overseeing this investigation. So this was part of a larger investigation. This almost looks like James from New York. I mean, this looks like some strong woman. Wouldn't that be state charges? But there's some strong woman here. I don't know who she is that oversaw. I've got to turn this off. That's overseeing what appears to be a new phase in an investigation. So a woman comes in, she presents as Yehudit, who seeks justice absolute. So already this is not looking good. Okay, so it appears, from what I can figure out, that they had evidence in New York, and then they passed it on to DC and back and forth, probably as part of Mueller's investigation when they got a bunch of stuff by raiding a bunch of people. So you have this woman, she was part of the investigation. It'd been going on for a long, long time. It took a lot of patience. And now we're entering into the new phase of that investigation, right? So a woman comes in. It doesn't have to be James, but it's some woman in a strong position of power and a new beginning. And what appears to happen is that there are going to be more police raids. All right, just to give a heads up, more police raids and more people being investigated that are associated with this pay to play and pay for information. And we know that because when we follow this energy of the new phase in this investigation that's being headed by this person, possibly a woman this Queen of Wands, we now have the Knight of Swords moving in. And the Knight of Swords in these types of card readings, for me, is interpreted as a police raid. First off, it's the swords, it's military, and it's rapid. And so this is looking a lot like we're talking about probably another, some more raids happening. And then basically the final outcome is that Deripaska is ruined. He has no future, Deripaska. He was betrayed. I think a lot of people got cocky. I think that they thought that they could get away with it. I think that they thought that the people that were fighting for justice, they laughed in their faces, like the Attorney General, like the people in New York that were investigating the Justice Department. They got rid of a lot of people. But with this kind of juxtaposition for Deripaska as the outcome, I don't think, there's no loyalty amongst thieves. I think that that's really the takeaway, right? Let's do the clarification. Is this helping people? I mean, is this kind of answering your question? The people that wanted to. Is this giving you guys? No, they're not going to make a deal with him because he was the big fish. That's the clarification. No, he can't make a deal. He is the fish. He was one of the fish that they were trying to catch, because you can see here a new beginning phase moving quickly, clarification, 3 of Wands, the new beginning to look at assets that were over the water. Remember what Mueller had said when we got into his information, that he couldn't get over the water. he's in a lot of trouble, and he was advised, this guy's not going to talk. He needs to keep his mouth shut. It's not going well for him. No, there is no negotiation here. He did it to himself, and he is the big fish. And I would not be surprised if this even escalated into an international trial. This is his outcome. Sooner or later, you're going to be mine, right? Mueller was watching Russians since how long? The 80s? How long has Mueller been watching these people? They've done documentaries on how long Mueller has sat and watched Russians when they've been dropping money. 10 years he had a camera. He got him. Wow. So the next question. Yes, Joel, that was the next question. I don't know. How do you want to talk about it before we throw the next one? I mean, is that what we're talking about? Are we talking about senators and people in our government handing over information from our security, special counsel, people that were on the people that were part of special committees? Remember the special committees? All those compromised people. I don't know about the aluminum factory. I don't even see why the aluminum factory would have to be shut down. Even if Deripaska gets shut down, I mean, it would probably be wouldn't it just be taken over by the Russian government? We'd have a new group of people we'd be working with. It doesn't necessarily mean we'd shut down the aluminum factory. It might mean we're doing business with somebody else. Hi, Mila. Yeah, it goes back to what Mueller said 2.5 years ago, that it was going all the way to the Capitol steps, that this investigation was to follow money from bribes from people in positions of power in DC, and now we're seeing the arrest. Yeah, like Nunez. Okay, let's do it. So the question, I think the main one was that people wanted to know about Senator Mitch McConnell. Because people felt like one of the reasons he tolerated Trump was because he was getting paid by Deripaska under the table. So if they confiscated, this is looking bad, right? This is looking bad for the GOP. This is looking bad for Mitch McConnell. This is looking bad for Mitch McConnell's wife. This is looking bad for a lot of people, right? Okay. Let's see what's going to happen with Mitch McConnell. I don't know. I mean, I think it's so evil to, it's so sick to sell your country. It's like what the judge said to Finch. You sold your country. To Flynn, I mean, excuse me. Finch, sorry. To Flynn, Mike Flynn, you sold your country. I don't see these people being protected. I don't see Mitch McConnell being protected. I don't. I don't know. Look, when they say no man is above the law, they're not kidding. They really don't want any man to be above the law. I think it's very likely that there's already some kind of investigation into Mitch McConnell and his dealings. I think there's something going on because you have a judgment coming on Mitch McConnell and you have an investigation into what, you may ask. Two of Pentacles. What's Two of Pentacles? The Flim Flam Man. That's right. Flim Flam Man. And then King of Swords, which would be legal action, possibly the police, right? No, I think Mitch McConnell's in trouble. It goes back to me always feeling like it's unlikely that he's going to be able, because of physical health, but also if you look at this kind of judgment or investigation into his activities, money laundering, bribes, etc., possible police action, I would say he's probably in some serious trouble. If it were me, see, I see a lot of people leaving, quitting, retiring early. Like a lot of people in the FBI left. They just moved on. They couldn't prove anything, so instead people simply moved on. Wow, how do I put this? You're finished. Mitch McConnell's finished. It's over. It's sad. It's sad because, you spend your whole life to have that kind of power, theoretically, so that you can do something to make the world a better place. It's theoretically so you can do something to make America a better country. But unfortunately, a judgment is coming. Clarified by Archangel Michael, the truth is coming out. An investigation about overseas dealings. You guys are looking at these cards and freaking out. I can feel it. Flim Flam Man, coin back and forth, a lover, exchange of ideas, betrayal, cheating, right? Do you think somebody like that can make a deal? Do you think somebody like that, if he can make a deal with the feds? No, you are the big fish. You are the person they were going after. This is his outcome. All three of the people that we've looked at have the same outcome. There you go. What do y'all think about that? Look, if we have a great deal with Russia on aluminum, and it really is a great deal for the United States, and if this guy's in prison and somebody else has to take over, or that might be possible. That was Tawny. Hi, Tawny. Everybody say hi to Tawny. Yes. I just told her we said hi to her live. Hi, Tawny. All right. We looked, and Deripaska was 10 of Swords. Steve Bannon was 10 of Swords as the outcome, and Mitch McConnell. All three had the same outcome, the 10 of Swords, which statistically, you've got 78 cards. To have all of them be the same outcome, what do you think the statistical odds of that are? I would say they're in pretty bad shape, Rita. I would say that Bob Mueller and everybody else, that went on for a very long time. I mean, other people that were concerned about this were people like, Al Franken was pretty mortified, right? He was trying to do something about the private armies and all the stuff that was going on. I'm sorry, Borla, that you missed part of the brunch. Well, you're with me now. How soon will Mitch go? Based on what we could see, I can throw on Merrick Garland, but it looked like there are more police raids coming. I wouldn't want to be on the wrong side of history. It's like I said, it's like that movie Ghost. The last scene in Ghost, when the evil man gets killed and realizes he's going to hell. What can you say at that point? It's already too late. All right, let's look at Marco Rubio. It's too late to save themselves. Look, they didn't even have cards suggesting that the feds wanted to make a deal. Why would the feds make a deal? For who's more important than Deripaska? There's no deal there. He had a 10 of swords and a 7 of swords as a clarification. I don't see a future for these people. Those are the worst cards honestly, I don't think I've ever seen such horrible cards. Have you? Have you seen 3 people share more terrible cards than that? Seriously? Okay. Let us see. Marco Rubio. What will be with Marco Rubio? I don't see the same fate for Marco Rubio. You know what it always looks like? It always looks like Marco Rubio moves on and gets interested in something else. Moving on, living in his own little world, rubbing his lamp, refusing to look at things. King of Wands moves in. So it's almost like he kind of, I think he may get out of politics. I think that Marco Rubio may actually get out of politics. This is a guy who's completely in the clouds. Look at that. There's a denial with Marco Rubio. People tell themselves stories all the time to justify, bad behavior. You ever dated somebody who is a writer? Somebody who makes up stories for a living? Actor? You ever dated an actor? They never do anything wrong because they can simply write a story where, they're wonderful and you're horrible, right? So there's an aspect here when you look at the people involved, like Marco Rubio, that they really are unteachable, like 2 of Swords. These are people that really believe their own crazy. That's basically how I would describe it. Okay, so was John Kasich and John McCain in on getting the? I think that's probably fake news, but you could probably just do a Google search and do a fact check. It sounds to me, because of it sounds to me like there's a little bit of BS there. All right, so before we close today, I just wanted to give my condolences to the family of the woman that passed away. If people can remember who she was. I did a remote last night on Alec Baldwin, and I feel horrible for the woman that's died, and it just tragic what's happened. And of course, it's not Alec Baldwin's fault. I mean, they handed him a gun and said cold gun. And they acted out the scene. Then he was given a cold gun, and it was not a cold gun. So of course it's not his fault. But this poor man, in his mind, I would say in a lot of ways, I've met Alec Baldwin. I was an extra on a movie he was on. And I think that Alec Baldwin is a classic actor in the sense that he plays tough guys. Tough guy, Alec Baldwin. But this guy is mush, right? He's mush. Alec Baldwin is mush, right? Tina Fey has talked about that. He plays the mucho, and meanwhile, he's the guy that cries at the Toyota commercials, right? So you can imagine the psychological pain this guy is in. I have killed my friend. Can you imagine the psychological pain that Alec Baldwin is in right now? I feel so terrible for him. What can you say to the poor man? They say he was crying, hysteric. And it's like over and over again in his mind, I have killed someone. I have killed someone. I have killed my friend. I have killed someone. Can you imagine over and over and over again? I have killed someone. I mean, it's horrible to be in that energy. But let's take a look. See if he's going to be okay. See if the family of the woman who passed away. Also, it'd be interesting to see if they're going to do something about this. Should never happen on a movie set ever again. I feel so bad for him. I so get Alec Baldwin, though, because I know guys like him. He's probably afraid. I think he's afraid of mice. There's a rumor, like, he's a vegetarian for PETA. I mean, I just feel bad for him. I feel so bad for him. He doesn't want to go back on the movie set, and he thinks given the circumstances, he should be allowed to be let out of the contract at this point. And even if they take legal action against him, which is unlikely, there is no way he's going back onto that movie set. That is the first thing he wants everybody to know. You can take legal action against me if you want to, but I am not going back onto that set. So, I mean, maybe they'll have to scrap it. I mean, it's one thing to expect an actor to be professional, but my God. They're doing an investigation into how this happened. If you're talking about the spirit of the woman that passed over, she certainly doesn't. I don't feel blame. I don't feel anyone's blaming him. He's kind of perceived of as a big teddy bear on set, right? It's that kind of an, oh no, he's a teddy bear. It's kind of that kind of an energy here with her, with the one who has passed over, sending positive energy. There's no ill will here. It's not like there was fighting or violence on the set. It's not describing that. In terms of the actual investigation or police investigation, the person that was heading the guns, the person that oversaw the safety, will be facing negligence charges. And the future of Alec Baldwin, because of this, he's going to become an extremely big advocate when this is all over, so that this never happens to another human being ever again. He will make it his business to be an advocate for safety on films in a way he never was before. in a way became his, it becomes part of the meaning of why he's alive, is to just keep people safe because of what happened to him. Wow. Well, that's cheery. Jeez Louise. It's the other guy. My card for Alec Baldwin is the King of Pentacles. The guy that gave him the gun and said it was okay is the King of Wands, and the Ace of Sword of Justice fell on him, not on Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin is begged to come back, we promise. He had a Four of Cups there, and then he emerges as the King of Pentacles. I liked the energy of the woman that passed away, because when I got into her energy, like, do you have any ill will for Alec Baldwin? Do you have any ill will for this? She said, oh no, he's a teddy bear. So they were buds. They horseback rode together, on their days off. These were buds. Unfortunately, these things happen, All right, everybody. Love and light. This was, we had some sad stuff we did today, but we also had some fun stuff. You guys are awesome. Yeah, he's a compassionate guy, he's the one that fought for the horses that died in New York because they were being abused, that people ride. That was his campaign. It's a very sensitive person. A lot of actors are. A lot of actors. All right. Love and light, everybody. Thank you so much for coming in. If you need to get in for a reading, you can go to tarotwithwhimsy.com. Be sure and share and like, subscribe if you haven't done so yet. Thank you so much for donations to Planned Parenthood in honor of the governor of Texas. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Love and light. Bye. Thank you.